3, 2, 1. What is up, party people? Today is February 20th, which means I just got back from watching the February 20th Samsung Unpacked event, which was held in San Francisco. And they kind of surprised me with a couple products we already knew was coming. We already got the Samsung S10e. Yes, that's one of the model names. We also got the Samsung S10 and the Samsung S10 Plus. We also got a couple of brand new wearables, such as some headphones, a new active watch. But what was really the highlight of the event, and what was kind of surprising to me, is that Samsung unveiled their brand new foldable phone. We've already kind of seen this preview last year at the end of 2018 when Samsung held their software event. But now we got all the latest details, what type of processor it's going to come with, how does the folding even works, and let me give you the rundown because this is a completely first generation product. And after 10 years from the first Samsung S series, the S1, we're finally getting a kind of breakthrough technology in smartphones. Do I think this is the next big thing? Kind of. I do have some drawbacks from the design. Like, what is the use of always unfolding it? Like, are you always going to unfold it, or are you always going to keep it in that one form factor? Because people don't really like things that aren't convenient. And is a foldable phone convenient? That's the question. But first off, I'm just going to say the price. And this foldable phone called the Galaxy Fold is going to cost, guess ready, almost $2,000. And when I heard that, I was like, $2,000 for a smartphone. $2,000. That's just like, I could get a almost maxed out MacBook Pro for that. I could get a maxed out iPad Pro with a terabyte of storage. I could get 2 iPhone XS Maxes. Like, oh my gosh, for $2,000, I could get the iPhone XR, iPad Pro, and AirPods, and that I'll still have $200 left in my pocket. $2,000 is insane, but that's what you have to pay for if you want to be one of the first people, the first tech enthusiasts at this next big thing. But my question is, we already had foldable phones back like 4 years ago with the iPhone 6. Yeah, of course. And just last year we had a foldable tablet. Nah, I'm just kidding, but still, do we need this technology? And especially with this first generation Galaxy Fold, it really isn't the most mature technology. It has a 4.6 inch display on the front, which is the same size as the iPhone 8, so it's not really an edge-to-edge screen. There's bezels on the top and bottom, and that aspect ratio on the front, before you unfold it, is super weird. It is so skinny, so you really don't want to use that first display. What you want to do is unfold it, and even when you unfold it to that 7.3 inch display, first of all, 7.3 inches isn't like, oh my gosh, that's huge. I mean, it's kind of small for a tablet. I mean, the iPad mini is 7.9, so you might as well get an iPad mini. But still, once you unfold it to that 7.3 inch tablet, and I'm just gonna say it unfolds by gears, and how long is that unfolding gonna work? I mean, you never know with gears, that could wear out over time. But once you unfold it, it's kind of this weird aspect ratio. I mean, it's not 4:3, it's not 5:3, it's somewhere in between. It's just weird. The whole aspect ratio on this Galaxy Fold is just weird. That's how I explain it. That's what this foldable phone is. I mean, it's weird, it's interesting. You're definitely gonna catch some eyes when you pull that thing out of your pocket. I mean, just imagine pulling out your pocket like this, like, oh, and I just got a text and let me unfold my phone, and that's really the future. But is it the future? That's the question we're gonna have to ask ourselves. I told my mom about this Galaxy Fold, and she says, oh, what's the point of paying $2,000 for a phone when you could just go back in time, go retro like 10 years ago, and you could pay $25 for a flip phone that my grandfather has? I mean, seriously, we're kind of reverting back to our olden times with these flip phones. So we already kind of familiar with flipping our phones, but now we're flipping our phones from 4.7 inches to 7.3. And eventually, I think over time, we'll probably get this to a ratio of 6 inches on the first display to maybe 10 inches when you unfold it, because 4.7 inches is kind of small, at least in this day and age, when we have Samsung over here revealing the Samsung S10 with a size of 6.7 inches. Yes, you heard me correctly, a version of the Samsung S10 is going to have a 6.7-inch display. But let's just finish up and wrap up the Galaxy Fold. It's going to have a Snapdragon 855 processor with 512 gigabytes of storage baseline. So yeah, that $2,000 is getting you somewhere with storage. That storage option is also going to come with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Are you ever going to use 12 gigabytes of RAM? Of course not. Even if you have 6 gigabytes of RAM, are you ever going to use that? That's a really good question right there. It's also going to have a 4,300 milliamp battery, which is generously big. It also has this like kind of notch on the top right corner of the Galaxy Fold. So even though Samsung has never put a notch on their S or Note series, they did put one on the Galaxy Fold. And also 2 software things to know about the Galaxy Fold. One of them is called App Continuity. I forgot to say it. But App Continuity.
Continuity.
But whatever that is, that means whenever you're going to use an app on the first display, it's going to continue once you unfold the device. So let's say you're just scrolling through Instagram on that 5.7-inch unfolded display, and then once you unfold it, Instagram's gonna continue inside of that tablet experience. Is this gonna be that intuitive and that easygoing of an experience going from one display to the other? I'm gonna guess no, because as we know, Android is not really that great with compatibility with apps. Maybe with some of the headliners, with Samsung working with maybe Facebook and Instagram for all those third-party apps like Clash of Clans, for example, as just a game. Those games are probably gonna act really weird when you're gonna switch in between one display and the other. And the other software feature that was kind of introduced on this Galaxy Fold to take advantage of the 7.3-inch tablet display once you unfold it is kind of this multitasking experience. And Samsung said this is the first ever smartphone to multitask with 3 different tabs open. So you can be watching YouTube, texting your friend, and searching up something on Google all at the same time. It's gonna be a little cramped on that 7.3-inch display. You don't have that much give or take, but hey, you got multitasking if you want it, and you're gonna have to use all of that screen real estate if you're gonna make $2,000 worth it. Ooh, let me just say $2,000. I can't imagine that, because earlier before we got this reveal of this Galaxy Fold, the rumors were that this thing was gonna cost around $1,700, and I was like, okay, a little bit more than a maxed out iPhone XS Max. It's not that bad. But now $2,000, which is $300 over that previous rumored price, I'm like, that is just way out of my league. Oh, I'm exiting this door right now. Getting back to those regular unfoldable phones. And going back to those unfoldable phones, or those single display phones, we see that Samsung revealed 3 models of the Samsung S10 today. I'm just going to cover all of the main features that apply to the Samsung S10, and then I'll get to the cheaper models that have some takeaways from that one. The Samsung S10 has a brand new ultrasonic fingerprint, so when you're going to use that display, you don't have to turn it on, because that ultrasonic fingerprint is just going to lay it on there, and it's going to send ultrasonic waves to your finger, and it's going to lock it without you even turning on your phone. And when you turn on your phone, that display is going to look super nice. Not only do you have those curved edges and that 6.3-inch 1440p AMOLED display, you're also going to have it going edge to edge. Well, edge, then there's kind of a camera in the way to the other edge. Samsung says this is laser pointed, but in the top right corner, a laser cut out a little circle for the front-facing camera. And on the Samsung S10 Plus, we have a dual front-facing camera. One is ultra-wide and one is wide. And then when we take a look at the back, we also have another triple camera setup. One is ultra-wide again, one is wide, and then one is telephoto. And some other models kind of take away a couple of those cameras. Then we also have 2-way reverse wireless charging, or Samsung calls it power share, and we've seen this with the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, and this is when you could charge your phone with other phones. And what that means is that with your Galaxy S10 Plus or any S model, you could charge your perfectly Galaxy next generation buds or your Galaxy Watch. You can charge many things now, even your best buddy's iPhone X. And getting to some of the more minor upgrades with the Samsung Galaxy S10, one of them is that the display now supports HDR10. Another one of them, there's a couple new features in the camera. One of them is that Samsung is now partnered with Instagram, so as an Instagram camera, there's also kind of a similar feature to portrait lighting that's found in iPhones. It's actually the ability to make your portrait photos black and white, adjust like the color of the face in portrait mode pictures. Super simple. There's also super stable video. It's kind of like more enhanced image stabilization via electronically, kind of like the GoPro Hero 7 technology if you're familiar with that, but I would have to see that tested to actually believe it. The front-facing camera now has the ability to record 4K video, which I think is definitely nice, but Samsung's front-facing camera is always a little soft, so maybe they updated it in the S10. I've yet to see any photo and video samples, so I'll be looking forward to that. There's also the ability for Adobe Rush now going to be natively on the Samsung S10. I wonder if it's pre-downloaded or you have to download it on the Google Play Store, but Samsung kind of unveiled and demoed the Adobe Rush today, and I was just like, iPhones have this for years. We've had iMovie, the ability to edit those videos with iMovie on our iPhones. I mean, we don't really need Adobe Rush to be pre-installed, but hey, why not? And also in the camera, there's also, yes, an AI camera, so it adjusts the scenes to whether you're taking a picture of food, a landscape, your dog. An AI camera is super simple. It doesn't really do that many changes, but it really just killed me on the inside when the Samsung announcer said AI camera. I was like, oh, AI camera. They just gonna slap AI on top of everything and that's gonna make it look cool. No, please stop doing that. It's like putting smart on everything 2-3 years ago. Smart TVs, and now we have AI TVs. They just need to cut it. And with all this information going in my head about all these brand new Samsung hardware and software products, I just want to hopefully clarify that all of these Samsung S10 models, even the S10e, still have the same SOS. It's still the Snapdragon 855, which offers around a 30 to 40% in both the CPU and GPU. It's not that big of an upgrade, but hey, new processor that's going to allow you to use your phone for 3 to 4 to maybe 5 years. All of that information that I just blurred out of my mouth applies to the Samsung S10 Plus, and mostly for these other two models, which is the Samsung S10 and the Samsung S10e. We don't know what the E stands for, but maybe MKBHD said it stands for economy, kind of like the economy seats on an airplane, or maybe it stands for electric because it runs with a battery. Who knows what the E stands for? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comment section below. But with the S10 and the S10e, this whole triple camera, no, not triple camera, triple phone lineup of the Samsung S10 kind of really resembles the iPhone 2018 lineup, how it has those two premium models and then the one budget. And this is not budget by any means, of course, but it's competing at a $750 price tag right with the 10R, and the Samsung S10 costs $900, which I was surprised by. I thought it was going to cost $1,000, and then the Samsung S10 Plus costs $1,000, and I was also surprised about that price because I was like, oh, I thought it was going to cost $1,100 to match with the iPhone 2018 lineup, but it's not. It's undercutting them by $100, and what the Samsung S10 has, or doesn't have, compared to the S10 Plus, is that one extra front-facing camera. It still has triple cameras, and then once you get, it also has a 6.1 inch display instead of a 6.3. Almost forgot that. But once you get to the Samsung S10e, you're really drawing back on a couple features. You're drawing back on that one less camera, so it's only a dual camera. Only, I know, I don't like using that word. It's also one single front-facing camera shooter, and it's also a flat panel. And what I mean by that is that, you know how Samsung is kind of iconic for that dripped over the edge curved edges? Well, the Samsung S10 has waved goodbye to that, and this is kind of the first Samsung phone to not have an edge since the Samsung S7 non-edge, because you know how there's an edge variant. Well, this is the first non-edge phone in 3 years, which is kind of surprising. I thought Samsung was always going to stick by this. They were like, curved edges are a thing, and we're gonna make it a thing. And the Samsung S10e also doesn't have that ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. So you're like, oh, it has Face ID. Well, it doesn't have Face ID. It has the fingerprint sensor, a normal fingerprint sensor, just on the side of the phone. Not on the back, because they wanted to make the back clean for all these versions. It's just on the side where you normally have the power button. And I just want to say, for all these models, they have a Bixby button, but don't panic. This Bixby button is finally mappable to any app you want. No way. A Bixby button that actually isn't an official Bixby button. It's just a button so you could access any app you want. Thank you, Samsung. Thank you so much. And the last few things on the Samsung S10, going for all three models, starting on the Samsung S10 Plus, that has a 4,100 milliamp battery. The S10 has a 3,400 milliamp battery, and the S10e has a 3,100 milliamp battery. It's not like huge, like, oh my gosh, it's a big chunky battery, but it's a respectable battery. And let me just say, all of these three models come in black and white, and the E comes in a couple other colors, and I think the other models come in other colors, but I'm not too sure about that. If they do, I'll put that right here, and that'll be super obvious, and that would be my mistake. And thankfully arriving on the final few products of the day, because I think this video is going to be super long. We have all of the Galaxy wearables. There's 3 wearables. One of them's headphones, and 2 of them are kind of smart watches. The headphones one is the most interesting to me because they're kind of an AirPod copy before the AirPods 2 even come out. And that's because they have a wirelessly charging case. So you could actually use these headphones and charge them on your Samsung S10 using that power share feature. But these brand new Icon X Generation 2, or they're now called Galaxy Buds, they have a 6-hour battery life. They have 2 microphones, one external, one internal. I don't think there's a heart rate sensor anymore because these things now cost $130. And now moving on to the next product is the Galaxy Active Watch. They didn't really go in depth on that much on these, but these still have that same 50-meter water resistance. It is $200. It doesn't have GPS, no cellular data for this one too. But for $200, you're kind of getting the bare bone product of a smartwatch. It's still circular. There's no rotating bezel at all. There's only 2 buttons on the sides, but hey, it's the bare bone of a watch for $200. Not that bad. And if you want to cut that price by half, slice that price, slice the smartwatch, you get to this $100 Galaxy Fitbit. No, they didn't call it Fitbit, but it looks like a Fitbit. They called it the Galaxy Bit. There's no way they called it the Bit. Whatever, let me search this up. Oh, that's right, it's called the Galaxy Fit, because Galaxy Bit would make 0 sense. It's like, oh, I have the Galaxy Bit, and it's like, huh? The Galaxy Fit makes sense, and it's the same like kind of design as a regular Fitbit, if you're familiar with those. It's kind of like a slim kind of type of design with a even smaller display. It's not really for any smartwatch uses, just for like the basic smartwatching features, so you can track your heart rate, maybe track a couple workouts, track your steps. That's all normal things you can expect on this watch, and it's as light as 23 grams, which they said on stage is as light as a strawberry, like as light as a strawberry. And I thought to myself, who thinks a strawberry is light? I mean, light compared to the thing that you have on your wrist. There's no way that this thing is heavier than a strawberry. I'm just like, strawberries are pretty heavy. There's no way this thing is heavier than that. I mean, I'm going on a rant about strawberries right now, like 10 minutes into this video, but that's okay. And I really don't want to mention this, but I have to. Both the Galaxy Active Watch and the Galaxy Fit, not called the Galaxy Bit, they both have sleep tracking. Come on, Apple. You have to add some sleep tracking. I mean, at least I want some sleep tracking on my Apple Watch. I don't know about you. There is one more Samsung S10 I didn't talk about today because it's not going to be revealed for a couple of months. So I'm going to save that for a future video in the upcoming week. It's called the Samsung S10. Get ready for it. 5G. I do not know how much this thing's going to cost, but it's going to be up there. It's definitely going to cost more than $1,000 for sure. maybe it's gonna cost around, I'm gonna put my guess out right now, I'm gonna say it's gonna cost $1,450. Hopefully alright, we'll see if my price is right in a couple of months, and supposedly gonna release maybe later this year because 5G is just an oncoming frontier technology. I'm excited for 5G, but is it gonna change the game that much? Because honestly, I don't even use my phone to that extent. I really only use it at my house with Wi-Fi, but 5G is supposedly faster than Wi-Fi. So I guess in every house, you're just gonna have 5G routers? I doubt that, but we'll see what 5G has in store for us. Hopefully you enjoyed all of this slate of Samsung products that I still have yet to mention a couple of them, like the tablet and the Samsung S10 5G that I'll talk about in a couple of episodes this week. But that was a lot. This video is going to go on for a lot, which means we're going to have to take a long time editing this, so I should just probably end this right now. Thank you for watching. That is all we have for today, and I will see you tomorrow for the latest and greatest. Subscribe if you want more content like this every single day. And no, I do not have murder on my mind.
3, 2, 1.
My heart so cold, I could put it in my cup. Gang versus the world, me and my dog, it was us. Then you went and wrote a statement.